Hello, my name is Craig Borey, software developer by day, science fiction and fantasy writer by night. And today's story I'm going to be reading is called The Old Painting. Short, it's about 3 pages. It's on the Lorelei Signal. There will be a link in the description if you want to read along. Very good magazine that's sadly going to be shutting down in 2027. And so yeah, here we go. What's that? I looked over from the kitchen counter where I was mixing the drinks. Jennifer, the exceptionally attractive co-ed I'd met at the bar that night, was standing in front of the fireplace and looking at the picture that hung above the mantel. Oh, that's a picture painted by my dearly departed and totally insane great-grandmother. Insane? She quirked an eyebrow at me as I walked over and handed her the rum and coke. Yeah, according to family history, she kind of lost it when my great-grandfather got inducted into the army. She painted that in the insane asylum about 3 months before she died. He was killed in action about 6 months later. Why do you think she was insane? Well, just look at it. The thing makes no sense. It was a picture of a black obelisk outlined in red flames. The front of it was covered with strange white squiggles from the top to the bottom. The effect was striking, and the squiggles did have a pattern that suggested writing of some sort. It was in no language any of my family had ever seen. Was your great-grandmother a student of ancient languages? No, just a typical 1940s housewife. I think she only had a 6th grade education. Why do you ask? Because that looks a lot like Sumerian cuneiform. Come again? You know I majored in ancient languages, right? Sure, of course, I remember you telling me, I said. Actually hadn't remembered, as my mind had been on other things, mainly the curves under a tight blouse, but I was not about to admit it. Well, I'm telling you, Bob, this is cuneiform. Are you saying you can read it? Maybe. I've got an app to help translate, she said, pulling out her phone. Take that down and bring it over to the kitchen table and I'll take a look. You really don't have to do that. It's probably just nonsense, I said. There are definitely other things I'd rather be doing with her than translating the oddball scrawls of a late insane relative, but she just grinned. Come on, it'll be fun. I sighed and took the painting down and brought it over to the table. She also had me get her a pen and pad of paper, and she sat down and started poring over the writing. She barely touched her drink, which, despite what those of a suspicious nature might think, really did only contain rum and coke. I sat at the table across from her, sipping dejectedly. This is interesting, she said after about 20 minutes. Did you find something? I translated the first few lines, and they are actual words. Really? I asked, interested in spite of myself. What does it say? Alas, whom I love shall not return. In the garden marketplace shall he meet his fate. I stopped breathing. The drink slipped from my hand and spilled on the floor. Jennifer's eyes widened as she saw the look on my face. Bob, are you okay? That's impossible. What is? My great-grandfather was in the 101st Airborne. The battle he was killed in was the battle for the Arnhem Bridge, Operation Market Garden. Now it was her turn to look shocked. Didn't you say she painted this 9 months before he died? Yes. But that's, she took a hefty gulp of her own drink. Okay, that might just be a coincidence, I said without much conviction. What else does it say? She bent once again to her work. A few minutes later, she had more done. Malin shall have 2 of his own before he's consumed by the crab. My grandfather had 2 children. He died of cancer of the crab. She did some more translating. The girl shall bear naught, being a bride of the divine, until her heart gives way. The boy shall have one and find his end in a clash of steel. My aunt was a nun. She died of a heart attack. My father was killed in a car crash. I'm an only child. We sat back and stared at each other. By this time, I had refilled my glass, emptied it, and filled it again. She just sat there looking stunned. Is there more? I asked. Yes, a bit more. What does it say? Are you sure you want? Yes, just finish it. She bent her head once more. A few minutes later, she was done. He who remains may yet a venerable age attain, should he not fly to the eagle's nest. Next week, I'm scheduled to fly to Washington, D.C., I said sadly. Could that be what she's talking about? I don't know, but if I were you, I'd cancel that flight. Yeah, there's no way I'm going now. I canceled my flight. I was not on American Airlines Flight 5342 when it collided with the Black Hawk helicopter over the Potomac, killing all 64 on board. It would have been 65 if not for my great-grandmother, who maybe wasn't so crazy after all. By the way, in my author bio, I talk about having a slightly annoying dog. That would be him in the background. Anyway, hope you liked that story. If you did, leave a like, and hopefully see you back here again. Thank you.